Hello? Oh, hello. All right, we're gonna get started. Welcome to Senate meeting number 9 of the semester. I already did this. This is just a brief rundown of what we're gonna do today. We have a presentation by Vice President Bruce Watts, American Cancer Society, a budget resubmission for the Korean Student Association, committee meetings, and then the rest. You guys, I did just add to the thread under Senate agendas some diagrams that are going to go along with what the Vice President is talking about tonight. So if you want to take a peek ahead of time or take a look while he's talking about them, they'll also be projected up here. So without further ado, I'll leave it straight off to Vice President Bruce Watts.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Did I hear somebody say falafel as I was walking in the room? Just a little trivia. It's always good to know kind of the real human side of people. Two things I know that President Ichimbadi has a passion for. One is cricket and the other is falafel. So if you're ever talking with him and you want to just break the ice, just talk about cricket or falafel and you'll have his immediate attention. My name is Bruce Watts. I'm the Vice President for Administration here. I'm an engineer by education and experience. I've spent the majority of my career managing facilities at large campuses such as ours. And a brief portion of my career, brief being about 10 years, in the construction industry, managing large construction offices and construction projects. So really feel connected to Illinois Tech as a STEM school. And it gives me the reason to get up and come in here every day because I love working here and you all are the reason that I do. Facilities management means a lot more than just the buildings and the grounds. It means security and safety. It means the retail operations, the dining and things like that. So I have a hybrid of 3 topics that I wanted to talk with you about today. The first is something that I know has gotten the attention of the student body this semester, and that's crosswalk safety on campus. The second is some thoughts about safety in general. And then the third is an update with what's going on with the bookstore, to tell you a little bit about the future plans there so that you all can be my ambassadors to help manage rumor control on that topic. So crosswalk safety, you all may know that we had 2 incidents early in the semester of 2 separate students being struck by a vehicle in the crosswalks on 2 different dates, very close to one another near the beginning of semester. Very unfortunate. We're happy to say that the students have recovered or are recovering, and we take that very seriously. So I wanted to give you a little bit of history about crosswalk safety here on the campus, talk a little bit about things that we're currently doing, and then round that off with some general comments on crosswalk safety. So this drawing that you see up here is actually one that was produced by the Chicago Department of Transportation back in 2017. Chicago Department of Transportation, or CDOT as it's known, is responsible for all of the streets in Chicago, and they're responsible for the streets that go through our campus, with very few exceptions. We're responsible for Federal, which is right outside of this building, and for Wabash, which goes between MSV and MTCC, and then down along the Greek Quad between there and the Row Village parking lot. Those streets are what's called vacated. In other words, the city said, we're done with these streets. The public doesn't use them. They're just for your use. So we're turning them over to you as private avenues. So we take care of the maintenance of those. The city takes care of everything else, particularly and of most concern to us, State Street, Michigan Avenue as well, although that's a border of campus. That's not straight through the center of campus. But the one where we've experienced the most problems and the most concerns is State Street. When I first arrived here in 2012, for the first several years, it was almost a monthly occurrence that there would be an incident in the crosswalk of a vehicle on pedestrian incident. So we continued to lobby with CDOT regularly to make improvements. There was a major project designed to install bike lanes all the way down State Street from almost the South Loop all the way down into the far south side near maybe 60th Street. That ran into political resistance and couldn't get through City Hall. That would have done a lot to calm traffic. Really, the secret to traffic engineering is calming the traffic, making people psychologically less likely to drive beyond the speed limit, because it would have reduced it to one lane in each direction for vehicles, and then the other lane would have been for bicycles. Knowing that that wouldn't happen, we pressured CDOT to come up with an engineering design to create improvements to the street. So what you see here, and this PDF actually takes you from 35th all the way to 31st Street. There's a separate PDF that shows the one crosswalk that crosses 31st Street near Keating Hall at Wabash. But we'll just stay on this drawing for tonight. So this shows the before and the after. This is what we had, and you can see that there are just crosswalks, no stripes before the crosswalks, just one sign right there before the crosswalk, letting drivers know, hey, there's a crosswalk there, but not telling them that state law requires that you stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk. And just not a lot to provide some advance notice to drivers, those drivers that are going to pay attention no matter how much signage is up there. Let me kick this up here a little bit. There you go. So you can see here, this is what they proposed. A lot more signs. So this is 35th Street. The tower would be right here. And you're coming up 35th Street. Crown Hall, which is where one of the accidents took place, has two crosswalks here, one just north and one just south of Crown Hall. So coming north, you can see they put this advanced stripe here. In my opinion, that did more to stop incidents than any other thing that they did, because drivers see that large white stripe 10 yards ahead of the crosswalk, and it just psychologically tells you that you should stop. Again, if you're paying attention. A lot more signage, again, telling people state law requires them to stop, and then better signage right at the crosswalk, warning drivers. Now, once these were installed and the city said, well, here's your design. Our traffic engineers provided these, so we know they're done by professional engineers and done to CDOT standards, but the city didn't have money to do it. So the university came forward and paid for these improvements to be put in 2017, 2018. After that, the number of incidents just dropped to almost nothing. So I can tell you that although we take it very seriously, and it's very unfortunate that drivers drove through campus and caused that, it was a real rarity to have two incidents like that close together. We were averaging maybe one a year since these were installed, as opposed to about one a month before that. So what we're doing now is talking with CDOT again about what they can do to take this to the next level. Whether it's just constant flashing lights on the signs to get the driver's attention, that one more cue that there's a crosswalk there, or possibly self-activated signs that a pedestrian can push and start the flashing lights when they're going to cross. That's probably going to require solar panels on the signs themselves, because it would be cost prohibitive to run electrical to all of these crosswalks. There are 6 crossings that are not protected by traffic lights, and each of those crossings goes across the 2 northbound lanes and the 2 southbound lanes. So that's really 6 times 2 where you have to do signs. And if you had to get electrical to all of those, it would just be cost prohibitive. So we are looking at solar activated lights, either pedestrian initiated or constant flashing. Have not heard CDOT's response to that. So we'll see what they come back with. Again, this is city responsibility. They're responsible for managing. We couldn't go on and make changes to the streets even if we wanted to. We can pay for it. We're not going to design it because it's the city's purview to do that. And they have the engineers that know how to do that. And they do pay for the design. So no matter what we do, no matter how much we do, it's never going to be 100% effective because there's always going to be the driver that zones out and is just coming down State Street, watching their cell phone, paying attention to whoever they're talking to, or listening to the radio, and they just blow right through the crosswalks. So everyone has to use their own eyes and ears as a last resort to protect yourselves and protect your classmates and those who might be there at the crosswalk with you. As a general rule, and then also in a case that's probably the most dangerous situation where the vehicle closest to you has stopped, so you can't see the other lane, and the car in the other lane can't see you either. So you have to proceed very carefully as you're walking past that vehicle and as others might be ahead of you. So that's a general overview of that. I'll take some questions on this later, but I wanted to get through all three topics and then we'll open it up for questions. So the next topic is safety in general. I started with crosswalks, look both ways. We put that in big bold letters right at the crosswalk to prompt people to look before they cross. It's also, I think, not a coincidence that those two accidents happened right at the beginning of the school year. And I know at least one was a first year student. So one thing we're going to make sure we do in future years is broadcast a message out right at the beginning of the year, as many ways as we can to make sure our new students who might be new to Chicago traffic understand the hazards of crossing streets here. Even if we protect you 100% on campus, you know what the crosswalks are like off campus as well. And it's every bit as dangerous as here. We've had accidents at our intersections that are protected by traffic lights. So even with full traffic protection, red lights, green lights, you still have to watch what you're doing because some drivers aren't going to be paying attention. And quite frankly, some accidents are the pedestrian's fault. The driver did have the right of way, but the pedestrian crossed against a red light. Go ahead. You had a question. That was probably one extra bonus that we talked them into doing. Yeah. Well, also, they paid to restripe all the crosswalks, and then they came through and resurfaced the street. So they had to do it all again. Yeah, that happens a lot. And then the water department came through and dug trenches, and that was right before they resurfaced, fortunately. So coordination among city departments is sometimes a challenge. Okay. Another safety topic is crime. We've been very fortunate that the crime trend here has gone steadily down. In 2016, for example, which was a recent year that I looked at the statistics, we had 14 robberies here on campus. For the past 5 years, the average has been 2.5. And some of those students, faculty, and staff were not victims. It was general public community members in our parking lots or on a sidewalk on campus. Sometimes it was a student or faculty member. I'm not telling you that it wasn't, but general awareness, just because the safety trend has been good here on campus, let's not take that for granted. As you're walking at night, always walk with someone else. If you need an escort here on campus, ask for an escort. If you don't feel comfortable walking from the library to the dorm, et cetera, there is a dedicated number to public safety where you can ask for an escort. We have the Rave Guardian app, which you can download on your phone. You can use that to communicate with public safety as well. You can also use that to communicate with a friend and set a timer if you're going from point A to point B, so they'll know that you got there safely. Try not to walk with your cell phones out. I know that's hard. I do that sometimes myself. I did it walking back to my office from MTCC today. If you have your cell phone in your pocket, try not to put earbuds in if you can help it, especially if you're walking off campus, because that's just a giveaway that you have your cell phone in your pocket. And in most robberies, the main target is the cell phone. It's not really the wallet anymore, although they'll take your wallet too. But just stay aware of your surroundings. That's the hazard of a cell phone. It both broadcasts that you have a cell phone to steal, and it distracts your attention from what's going on around you. So it's really easy for someone to sneak up on you. So crime trends, very good here on campus. Low single digits for the past 5 years, but let's not take that for granted. Another thing I'd like to talk about safety-wise is your own safety in our spaces, especially places like maker spaces and labs. I'd like to ask you, we've had some spaces where our head of environmental health and safety is concerned that they've become a little messy, if you will. And when I was in the construction industry, it was a proven fact that a clean job site was a safe job site. So if you walk into a maker space or a lab space and it looks like a showroom, picture perfect, make sure it looks that way when you leave. If it doesn't look picture perfect, try to leave it better than you found it. That's just in the spirit of all of us trying to look for one another. Also look for common sense. Safety doesn't have to be complicated with a lot of rules to memorize. Trip hazards, hearing protection, eye protection, fall protection. The number one cause of serious injury and death in the construction industry is falls. And sometimes it's just to fall off of a ladder. I know of a worker who fell off of a ladder, hurt their back, and that pretty much ended their career. They never came back to work. So let's be careful. They say that most accidents occur within a mile of home. That's because at home we're on ladders and doing things that we might not be allowed to do at work because we follow the rules at work, but we don't at home. So when you're in a makerspace, you're in a lab, follow the rules, but also just use common sense and keep it neat, because neat and orderly leads to a much safer experience. Also, if you see something, say something, whether it's a crime-related thing that you think is suspicious, or if it's a physical safety problem on campus. Something looks like it's going to fall off of a building, or a lab has an unsafe electrical condition. Just don't assume that someone already knows about it. Mention it to the lab manager, mention it to your faculty member, mention it to the idea shop manager, so that they can make sure it gets addressed. We do have a facilities work order system. It's called HawkWorks. You may know. If you don't, then you know in about 10 seconds that any student can submit a work order in the HawkWorks system for a repair to a facility. If somebody's already submitted it and you submit it, we're going to catch that. We know that it's the same thing. So don't worry about that. It's better that we hear it from 2 or 3 people than no one at all. Last topic, the bookstore. So there's a sign on the window at the bookstore that says, Barnes & Noble's been happy serving you for the last however many decades, and they're closing by the end of the month. They could not make a go of it financially. The whole book industry has changed. So they came to us with a financial contract that we were not comfortable signing. We didn't feel it was in the best interest of our students. They said, well, we can provide you a virtual book ordering platform that can be delivered either bulk shipped to the university and then you distribute them, or directly to the student's address. And we said, we'll go with that. So book ordering using the university's partner, which will be called MBS. That's M as in Mike, BS. That's a subsidiary of Barnes & Noble. It's the online platform of Barnes & Noble. They're going to provide a virtual ordering platform. Faculty members are still ordering or populating the book lists with MBS, just as they always have. And those will then be posted so that the students can order. They'll be bulk shipped here to campus if you choose that option, and distributed from the current bookstore location. Now, the current bookstore location is going to close for a month, month and a half, open probably right at the end of the semester, and it's going to be rebranded. That's where the admissions office is going to have their welcome center and their starting point for visitors to campus for campus tours. Won't be where all the counselors are sitting necessarily, but it's going to be the admissions welcome center and visitor center. That's still where the Spirit gear is going to be sold. They'll have not as much on display there, but they'll have more in the back. So you can go in, and if you like a sweatshirt and they don't have your size there, they can go in the back and get it for you. But there's also going to be an online store for Spirit gear, which will have a much bigger selection, and you can order from there and have it delivered directly to you or to your family through the online store. And then you don't have to worry about buying it physically from the bookstore and then taking it to the mailroom and mailing it. Architecture supplies are also sold out of the current bookstore. That's not going away. We're working with the architecture faculty and with the admissions management and with my team, who's managing the whole operation of getting this set up administratively and physically, to create the system that's actually going to manage that inventory and manage that point of sale for architecture students to continue to come to that location and get whatever it is they need that's in the current inventory. We're reviewing that inventory right now, by the way, too, because we realize some things need to be refreshed almost every week, and some things we barely sell one a semester. So we're going to try to right size the storage there. So architecture supplies not going away. I wanted to get ahead of rumor control here. Spirit gear not going away. I think what we have to offer after this is going to actually be a better experience because you'll have an online platform, and the book ordering, I think, is going to be more price competitive because they will do price matching and make sure that they're pegging the low end of the market with every book that they're supplying. So that gets to the end of my prepared remarks. I'd like to open it up for questions. Yes. So book returns we haven't worked that out yet. We're negotiating that with MBS right now, how the books return will work. I imagine it's either going to be drop them back at the bookstore and they will come pick up the bulk shipment just like they dropped it off, or they'll provide just like you'll get a return envelope in the mail to have that shipped back. But there'll be more to follow on that. That's a detail that we just haven't worked out. We're just about to sign the contract with MBS and working those details out. In the back. So speed cameras and speed bumps, you said? Okay. So speed cameras a little bit easier to get done than speed bumps. Speed bumps, you get a lot of political resistance. Cameras, we have actually had the police, we've had CDOT bring out the portable speed cameras here for a week or two and then take it away. That's one thing we're talking with them about now, is either doing that on a regular basis or putting a permanent one up. I noticed there is one on 31st Street as you approach Keating from the east. So that tells me it could easily be done on State Street in several locations. That's a great suggestion. Speed bumps, a lot harder politically, because you do have to understand we're living in the city. We're living in a ward. The citizens of the ward have an alderman. She hears their complaints, and if she feels it's something that is going to make a lot of the population of the ward unhappy, then that makes it tough for us to get those things done. Yeah. Yeah, the problem with Michigan Avenue is it's even faster because it's all one way. It's like 5 lanes southbound. So you do have to be careful there. Most of the crossings there are protected by traffic lights, most of the pedestrian traffic, because they don't have so much in between pedestrian traffic like we do on State Street, because that's mostly our students crossing to class and things in between the intersection. But Michigan Avenue definitely needs attention. Yes.
I like very dark, and when cars come and with black jackets, I don't feel like they are seeing us.
Yes.
So to somehow illuminate more the crossways or like that, then to see us better.
Yeah, lighting on the crosswalks is your question. That's a good suggestion, something we will talk with CDOT about. This might be something you all can help us with Rezwan. As the winter approaches, and we have people here at night too, so they tell us about problems at night, but you're experiencing a lot more of the campus at night than the average staff member does. So if you see particular areas that are of the most concern, we can at least get CDOT to pilot those, whether sometimes it's just trees in the way of a street light that would otherwise light the crosswalk, but certainly something we're considering.
Just to address that point, we are the SJ and the Public Safety Committee is also coming up with a safety walk on campus with some of the administration. So
Great.
it would be, I don't think the Bruce has known this yet, but instead it's going to send out something to you, Malik, VP Malik, and maybe Kenneth Christensen, and we'll walk through the campus just to identify if there's like dark spots, space
Great.
that can always be targeted lamppost. So yeah, we can.
Library, when you go to the red line station, turning left, that cross is sometimes like very difficult also, and that's why the circle I had the most concern.
That's on 33rd Street.
It's between the ballroom and the library. That cross.
Oh yeah.
Street, because many students will have to go to the red line. And we go from there, not from the tower side, but just from that side. So that area many times is like dark and we have to cross the road. So.
Okay. 33rd Street.
33rd.
On Footlick Lane,
Yeah.
Dearborn. Okay. Yeah. That's yeah.
Well, we'll make a note and we'll get the feedback to you.
Yeah.
About the
Take this
specific
drawing
time.
and mark it
Yeah.
out
100%
for me.
for you.
I want to move back to the bookstore for a second.
Okay.
I'm loud enough.
Oh yeah. So the downtown wants to know what's going on with it, because the administration downtown doesn't really know. They're saying that this is an IIT entire decision, and they don't know what the plan is downtown.
So they've been on all the planning calls.
Yeah.
So Steve Soul,
Right.
Don Rupsich, they basically know what's going on.
All right.
They're working out some details on their end,
All right.
like where's the bulk ship of books, where's that going to take place? Right now, it's probably going to take place in the current bookstore
All right.
location. That bookstore will close as a Barnes and Noble bookstore, but that'll still be where the bulk ship gets delivered at the beginning of the semester. Spirit Gear, they're thinking through that solution there. They're not sure they're going to have an all-day staffed Spirit Gear store. What they may have is more of display cases with a QR code so you can order it online.
Okay.
Or go into somebody's office and buy it rather than staffing a store, which can get pretty expensive for the volume that
Okay.
they will have.
Thank you for
So-
that
Sure.
clarification. Thank you.
Sure. Any other? Yes.
any reason why, has there been any discussion about reducing State Street to 2 lanes total?
Yes, that goes with the whole bike lane discussion, which happened right before 2017. And that goes back to the citizens of the ward as they're transiting campus. If they feel it's a trade-off, everything's a trade-off. And if we don't have the alderman's support, it can't happen because it's a city project. It needs to get approved by city council. City council members typically respect one another so that if something's going to happen in one city council member's ward and that alderman doesn't want it to happen, then the city council won't vote for it. So I'm not throwing our alderman under the bus. She's great. She's done amazing things to support us. This is one thing where her constituents had a lot of concerns with not only the traffic being constrained to 2 lanes, but also if they had to cross bike lines to get to church or the office or wherever they might be going. That's typically off campus, but that type of a project you can't really do just on our campus. If everything were 2 lanes coming down to our campus and then 1 lane through our campus and then 2 lanes again, then we'd be a huge bottleneck. So that's just a traffic engineering reality. They would need to do it more gradually to step down to 1 lane in each direction. That's the answer though. That's the answer. And hopefully one day we'll be to that. I think the bike lane design was a brilliant idea, and that's the right way to go. The city is trying to promote bike use throughout the city, and that does 2 things at once. It does that and helps traffic safety. 2 hands? You had your hand up for a while there.
Is there gonna be like a forum where students will be able to like put their input into like the possible solutions that might be implemented? Like maybe a survey or something where there are things that we see as students, like why they previously just mentioned.
I think what works best for that, a survey would be great, but what might work even better for that is more of what they call, and does anybody an architecture student? So a charrette, where we bring the CDOT engineers in and our facilities folks and our public safety folks and, some designated students, a designated student task force or committee to dialogue with us in a charrette fashion and bring forward the collective input of the student body. Does that sound like something that would work?
Yeah, I would think, I don't know how we could coordinate. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll take feedback from the whole student body.
okay.
That brings color to the student recommendations. Surveys can sometimes be sometimes they can be too broad if it just looks like a lot of unrelated ideas. They're really helpful though when you can then assimilate some of the data and really analyze it. So you could do both. I would maybe a survey in advance of a charrette, but you've got a public safety committee that's working on that. So I would encourage you to do that. And we're available to help you as you're putting it together. Hands raised.
I definitely want to say there are going to be of course, some limitations, what we can do because State Street, it's just such an important artery to the city, is so widely traveled,
Right.
by just people in general. It's such a main street. I know with some of the solutions, the reduction of lanes or even the speed bumps are probably not really doable due to just it
In the
being,
near term.
at least in the near term, due to it, unless that traffic can go somewhere else, because State Street is just so widely used. I think we're looking in the city code right now, and speed bumps is quite a lot on whether or not that's even possible for State Street. So
Yeah. We're fortunate while the crosswalks present a danger, we also have a lot of crosswalks.
Right.
I mean, we tried to put crosswalks in a couple of other locations, but CDOT told us we were pushing the limit too much on what was allowed. You can't have too many crosswalks within a certain distance of a lighted intersection, which is what keeps us from having even more unlit crosswalks on campus. So
I guess my question was, what can we do that's like within city code that's like possible and maybe more politically
that's what we're working on now.
doable? Yeah.
That's what we're working on now. I think sensory cues are one. Yes. So which tunnels? Oh. Yeah, that might raise other safety concerns. Those are utility tunnels generally. So you'd be walking with steam lines and whatnot, and that could present other safety issues. Uh-huh. Okay. I am not sure. That could be urban legend. I'm not sure. But I'll transit those tunnels. I'll transit those tunnels in the next week just to see. Well, I'm not going to argue with you on that.
All right. I think we've hit about the time limit for questions here. So that's all. Thank you so much. Vice
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, so we will move on. We have a quick presentation from the American Cancer Society organization. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Hey everybody, I'm Suraj. This is my friend Khalik. We're going to be doing a presentation on our potential student organization, American Cancer Society, on campus.
So just a little mission statement. So the primary focus of this organization would be around fundraising for cancer research and basically showing humanitarian side to medicine. So the organization would aim to educate the public and the student population about cancer, its potential prevention methods, and anything that we might be doing in our daily lives that might put us at a higher risk for cancer of any kind. So these are the three pillars of American Cancer Society chapters across the nation. So the first one is patient support. So as a chapter, we would have to show how IIT cares about patients who might be struggling or undergoing chemotherapy or any kind of in cancer hospitals. So one common example of an event we could do is like a toy drive or a toy drive packaging event, which those go together. The second one is research education. So as I said before, would be holding monthly or perhaps bi-weekly presentations about new research about cancer, treatments of cancer that have come up, or prevention methods for students. And the last one is advocacy, ACS, Cancer Action Network. And so this works with helping students reach out to the government officials and not just work with the population, but also reach out and work on a political level, spread their mission, lobbying, Lights of Hope, and etc. So on the side, we can just see some other prominent universities that also have American Cancer Society chapters.
So you guys might be wondering why we should bring this organization to IIT, and there's numerous reasons for this. The primary reason is that it benefits our students very well. It allows them to participate in a variety of initiatives that can help them to gain skill sets that help them better their local and global communities. With regards to the pre-health students on our campus, it provides them a practical exposure to medicine, but not just to medicine, but to the humanitarian aspect of medicine. It teaches students about the fundamentals of fundraising, which can serve them very well in the future if they participate in any philanthropic endeavors. And it gives students an opportunity to gain leadership roles that extend beyond the confines of IIT campus. So this organization specifically focuses on cancer as its primary issue. It's not a pre-health organization. It extends beyond medicine into a more humanitarian issue. And it focuses not only on raising funds, but also sharing the stories of those who have battled cancers and survived.
So, so as Siraj mentioned on the previous slide,
Yeah.
IIT students can take leadership roles outside of campus. So for example, the bottom two roles shown here are on the ACS website, and they're waiting for young individuals who'd like to work with government officials on district level, on the local, state, and federal levels to help work with promoting ACS campaign levels. And this will help IIT students who might be interested in working with the government or working with humanitarian organizations work directly and gain a broader role, not just in Brownsville or Chicago, but as a state.
So we want to now touch on our Relay for Life event, which is our primary event at the end of the semester. The core values of this event is to celebrate those who have battled and survived cancer, celebrate those who have treated cancer patients, conduct a luminaria ceremony to honor and remember loved ones who have passed away from cancer, and finally, create a platform which gives hope that there is an opportunity to fight back against cancer. And generally, you guys might be wondering what the format and structure of this event would be. So generally, we found from our research that other college campuses do a banquet or a marathon for this type of event. We found that based on like financial feasibility and student appeal, that a banquet might be best served not only for pre-health students, but for all students in IIT community in general. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. You guys have any questions for us?
Questions, comments?
We'll move into discussion. Reswan, do you want to walk them out to the pitch? I don't know if there'll be much of a discussion. Does anybody have a discussion point they'd like to bring up?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, a motion then. Any objection? Seeing none, we're good. Bolu, will you release the voting form on that one, please? And they're fine. All right, we'll move on to the Korean Student Association. They're here to represent their budget. You guys can all see it, correct? It was sent out a part of the thread, the Korean Student Association. I'm not going to make you talk about it again because they presented last week. If you guys have any questions though, or if not, we can just make a motion to move to previous question and move past this. But it's totally up to those who motion to have it looked at one more time. Do you have an extra mic? Just in case. Lisa. Great question. All right. Somebody play the Jeopardy music for a second. Was the old one sent out?
No.
Okay, it's coming right now. I've got it. Go to threads. Upload. All right, there you go. I'll give you guys 10 seconds. Yes, no. Unless you wanted it up on the screen. If they have. I just want to see if they have any more questions. The Trump. All right. Any questions? Any questions? If not, KSA would love to be approved. Any questions? No, we're good. We're good. We're good. I think everybody saw it now. Everybody who wanted to see it saw the updated budget. Yes, yes, yes. It's in the Senate agendas. I just added it in the. Here you go. In general. With that. And it takes it. Okay, now any questions? Corey, any questions? Looks good. Okay. Who else? Kind of a Tessa, did you have any questions? You're good. All right. Can I have a motion to move to previous question? A second. Any objection on approving KSA? All right. All right. Thank you so much. Approved. I'll send you an email. All right. All right, so we will move on. It's time for committee meetings. So if you are a committee chair, spread out between the three rooms, find some senators. Senators, you can wander between them, but also try to find a home this week. All right.
Anyone who wants to be part of the Public Safety Committee, there's going to be a lot of discussion regarding everything that was told today. So yeah, go ahead and join the committee chair right now. What?
All right, let's get started again. Everybody come on down. Hey, we're gonna get started with the exec reports, with or without them. Starting off with. Oh, sorry. I know.
Hey, Joseph, can you bring everybody over here, please? Joseph, please.
All right, we'll leave it to you, Andrew.
Okay, so I have a food advisory board meeting tomorrow. Most of my committee will be there to discuss things. If you have anything, let one of us know and we'll run that by them. Still looking for people not necessarily on the committee that would still like to regularly attend. We want a wide spectrum of people across campus. So all the way from first year to graduate to commuter to non-commuter, to just kind of show up and just provide input if you eat on the campus. Also, Bruce already left, but thank you, Bruce, for the various campus life updates that I had, but he did for me from that level. So.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you again. So we have a new tentative date for the town hall. I actually just submitted the space reservation form this afternoon, November 16th, Thursday, during the lunch period, 12:40 p.m. to 1:40 p.m. If you're available to help at that time, I would greatly appreciate it. The website is being updated to include the new committee, the Downtown Campus Committee. You can now find it on the website. It was published around 5 in the afternoon today. And there are also new, what's that called? New resources that have been added across a few of the committees, specifically Residence Life and DEI, specifically pertaining to things such as the Women's Center, Title IX compliance, and for Residence Life, gender inclusive housing. And then we're also trying to look into implementing a weekly section on the weekly newsletter sent out by the university, and also just trying to do our own newsletter as we had historically done. If you're interested in helping out with that, please reach out to us. You can reach out to Corey if you would like to help out with that specifically. And yeah, who's next? That's life.
Everyone, just some notices. So I will be meeting with Mark later in the week. The RA's just had another in-service regarding the future of residence life and just how that's going on with some students. There's nothing too publicly important about that. I will be learning more about that tomorrow morning. Just some things that you all should be aware. And let me go ahead and grab the sheet. The RA application for the next academic year will be starting up very soon. And that form will be available. There will be a total of 4 official RA info sessions, technically 5. RHA always has added a 5th one, at least for the past couple years. For anyone who consistently goes to RHA, you can just go to an RHA meeting to get the info session and be eligible to be an RA. And that 5th one will be on the 9th. After the first time at 7 p.m., it will be at the 9:15 p.m. RHA meeting. But the info sessions are essentially what's it like being an RA, all that knowledge. It's required that you go to at least one info session if you would like to become an RA. This will be sent out to everyone who lives on campus and is eligible, which also you need to be a resident for at least a year before starting your job. There will be 2 online sessions, one November 9th at 7 p.m., as well as November 9th at 9:15 p.m. That's the unofficial one. Another one on Wednesday, November 15th at 7 p.m. And then for in-person, you can go to one Friday, November 10th at 4 p.m. in Siegel Hall, room 202, or Thursday, November 16th at 5 p.m. in Wishnick Hall, room 115. If anyone wants these things now, I can give you the poster in advance, but they will be put up in the coming days and sent to your emails in the coming days regarding the info session. And the RA application will be coming out probably within the next few weeks. It will take some time to complete, so make sure you plan that if you're interested in becoming a resident advisor, and it will likely be due sometime at the beginning of January, as has historically been the time the RA application is due. Just any questions regarding that for anyone who may be a resident is usually the biggest thing that people care about, is being an RA. So, okay. For November meetings, we've had a lot of great things happening in RHA. We've had weekly meetings. I think we're going to end up probably having the most RHA meetings in this semester we've ever had in a single semester. I think we're going to probably get, I think, to 11 or 12. Just usually we're at 6 or 7 per semester, so that's a lot. Title IX Compliance Office, Virginia Foster, is coming to give a presentation on Domestic Violence Awareness Month this week for RHA Thursday at 9:15 p.m., followed by where you've already planned out November. Public Safety, Andrew Yoakum, Bruce Watts' old stomping grounds, actually. He's the director of public safety. Some of you are on the public safety committee. Andrew Yoakum will be coming to do a general overview of public safety services and how public safety works for the resident body. If anyone on public safety committee is interested in that and would like to learn more of a general overview of basic public safety knowledge, that's what will be happening on the 2nd. The 9th will be our informal RHA info session. The 16th, we'll be having Gary Wally, the head of Student Health and Wellness, come to discuss mental health and the importance of student health and the Health and Wellness Center and any resources offered to students, as it will be an important time. You'll all be getting ready for finals and going on break for Thanksgiving. Skipping the Thanksgiving week, we then will have Mel round out our RHA year on the 30th with a discussion on incident reports and how to properly make incident reports, specifically the entire reporting process, what that looks like, and what you can do to better ensure your report will be followed through with administration to yield a better success rate, on your report. Some people don't have enough details in their reports or report necessarily not as early as they could. So providing you with all the information you need to make better informed decisions regarding that reporting process should, hopefully not, but if you may need to go through that process, you can go through it with confidence and know what the outcome could likely be. So any questions? So yeah, that's our November slate. Okay.
So just a few updates for academic affairs. Recently, we had a meeting with Dr. Orgal, and unfortunately, the midterm course evaluation is not going to be improved with text responses for students this semester. So the goal will be to try to get that implemented next semester. We did have a committee meeting today, and so we are going to be getting a course complaint survey developed for any students that have issues with their courses, TAs or SIs, and we will similarly be compiling a framework to address each of those complaints, as well as FERPA violations. We did get some ARC complaints, and I was able to meet with the ARC about those, so they are aware. And otherwise, we will be developing a midterm course evaluation satisfaction survey to show the school just how much we want certain things on our course evaluations and actually give them some data so they can change it for next semester. If you have anything else to bring up to me, we had a great committee meeting today. You can always talk to me personally, send me an email, or message me in Discord. But that's all from me today.
Hey, everyone. So yeah, remember Shanita? She came a few weeks ago. So this is a poster that the SGA is gonna post for November 4th. The joining with the alumni to celebrate the 50 years of the invention of the cell phone. Yeah, Martin Cooper is gonna be there online too, along with Dean Lanz from the College of Computing. So what I want you guys to do, if you guys are available, RSVP for the event right here, right now, if you can. And when the SGA shares it on Instagram, I want you all to repost it on your Instagram too, okay? If you're comfortable with it, okay? Tell your friends, tell your family, there's gonna be alumni for all over the world, breakout rooms from like all continents. You know, you have a chance to like really connect with these people, learn about Martin Cooper's life from him firsthand. And, you know, we'll also be have a chance to be proud of the legacy that he left behind, okay? So that's the main thing. Any updates from the committee chairs? Oh, we had the whole public safety thing. Jacob, you don't have anything, I assume? Right? Oh, okay. You want to come up and say it? Or do you want to say it there? Okay, yes, grab tech news. Yeah, let's we'll also have a column on tech news, right? Oh, soon, maybe. That will have like points of our SGA meetings every other week. So yeah, promote tech news. I know they need a lot of people and they have applications open, right? So apply, become investigative journalists for the campus. What? Oh, not yet? Oh, I thought they needed people. Okay, during the winter, so in a month, right? In a month, applications will be opened. So yeah, that's all. What else? Where's Derek? Any senator reports? What is it? Okay.
No senator reports? All right, open floor. We have a couple
Ryan.
items. Ryan.
Okay, maybe I do need a microphone. Hello, everybody. You guys might have seen some of my messages in the Discord regarding some, I don't know, like concerns and thoughts regarding the future of Illinois Tech, particularly with the introduction of online course programming like Coursera and increases admissions enrollment. And I'm here because I wanted to provide text to those statements. My name's Ryan. I am a senior. I'm the vice chair for finance board. I study CS, and I co-term in biomedical engineering. And just a brief statement. So a few weeks ago, Provost Christensen came here and proposed the introduction of the Coursera degrees at Illinois Tech. During the presentation, the provost highlighted how these programs, undergraduate and graduate, targeted a different kind of learner. Now, in this vein, Illinois Tech has touted its record graduate enrollment, including a 70% year-over-year increase from the College of Computing and a more than 100% increase from the Stewart School of Business. Professors and students have reported that many of the admitted graduate students from the computer science program have lacked a basic programming knowledge. And in addition, the classroom sizes have ballooned from what was typically 50 as a ceiling to 120 being typical and up to 400 students being in our graduate level classes. Now, these changes are particularly acute in the College of Computing and in the Stewart School of Business, but they have the potential to reverberate throughout our entire university. When I first applied to this institution, I did so under the promise of a small classroom size and a rigorous academic environment. Coming back this fall, we've been met with increased classroom sizes and reduced admission standards. These issues are dismissed by administrators as growing pains as part of their new vision. But as a student, it feels less like a growing pain and more like a broken promise. Illinois Tech has afforded me more opportunity than I could have ever dreamt of. As the first person in my family to study engineering, I charted into new territory, and the support systems, affordability, and community our university offers ensured my success, as it has for so many of us. I'm presenting to you tonight because I want to keep these opportunities alive for the next generation of students. Unfortunately, I feel like these changes from this year jeopardize that potential. Some of these changes are created with a genuine vision to kind of create more opportunity. However, I think it's worth noting that a lot of these changes have been a result of financial necessity. The introduction of this new mission coincides with a dire financial situation. Over the past several years, the Illinois Tech administration has been furtively selling off every possible liquid asset it has to finance a budget deficit. And this got so dramatic that at a certain point, we were just 2 years away from bankruptcy. The administration has sold off our bonds. They've sold off our cell towers, and they've sold off power plant on campus. Now, really all that we have left is our reputation. And I'm worried that if we continue down this path, they're going to sell that too. At our best, a technology-driven Illinois Tech can expand our community and reduce barriers to high-quality education for Chicago's working-class families and beyond. But at our worst, we can accelerate a two-tiered chasm in educational experience. Small in-person classes for the very rich and large online education for everybody else. Taken in sum, I think that these new changes in enrollment and strategy chart a new direction for Illinois Tech. And I'm interested in establishing a committee of students that evaluates this mission and its alignment with the culture and values of our university. I'm not saying I have all the answers here right now, but I think that if we come together, we ask the right questions, and we survey our students, we get a much better sense of what's really, the goals of our university. And I think that this committee can evaluate the needs of the Illinois Tech student body, faculty, and alumni, what they care about, and ensure that the mission of this institution as an engine for social mobility is fully realized. So if you're interested in joining me with this, I'd be more than happy to talk afterwards. So thank you guys for listening.
I also just wanted to add quickly, I know you called out Stewart and computing particularly. It's not as obvious within the architecture department because our classes start smaller. However, my current professor for studio, this is his 6th university he's been affiliated with, both as students and as professors. Our average studio class size is larger than the maximum would have been allowed to get to at any of the other 5 institutions he's been affiliated with.
Yeah. I think that's so worth noting. And when I consider what this was, I'm a senior now, I've been here for 4 years, and I feel like in the past year, especially like that these class sizes, they've really ballooned. And the administration will admit this, and they'll say, okay, maybe this is just the new vision. This is what everybody does at Urbana-Champaign. But I think there's something to be said about the fact that this is a small university, and one of the advantages of a small university is small class sizes. So completely echoing agreement with that.
Elio, I thought so. So Naeem is yours related. Okay.
I just want to say I agree. I've seen this is my 5th year here. I've seen a lot of very good faculty go away, and it's very upsetting to see that. We've had a lot of quality people in general, not even necessarily just faculty, just staff at this university leave due to a lot of the concerns that the budget deficit is causing in terms of with pay and whatnot, or just people getting laid off. And I think it's not right. I guess as a solution for this org, and this is me playing a bit of devil's advocate here, not saying I'm not in support of the org at all. What I'm a bit confused about specifically is that you definitely praise the idea that Illinois Tech is this accessible place everyone can come to, it's serving the people, at the same time criticizing it serving more people. So where do we stand on that issue specifically, or what middle ground like can we find there?
I think that's a completely like valid point to raise, and this is what I'll say is, if you don't have the money to meaningfully serve more people, then you shouldn't be serving those people. I think what makes Illinois Tech such a great place is that it takes ordinary people and it transforms them extraordinary people as in terms of researchers and in terms of being entrepreneurs. And I see that with my peers. I see that as the product of 4 years of what's happened here. And I worry that if we scale too quickly and we're focused on numbers and just drawing in as many people as possible, that you're going to lose those kinds of outcomes. And I think a lot of that outcome comes from the student body. I mean, all of you are obviously qualified to be here. And I think that there's something to be said about being an Illinois Tech student. And I think that it's important that we maintain that while also, maintaining the quality of education. And hopefully more people will want to come to this university as we continue doing things well. But the focus, for example, of increasing class size is when you have 120 people in a classroom, you're not getting personal experience. And so you can't just focus, in my view, at least, on just admitting more people relentlessly. You need to make sure that that is scale that the university can accommodate. And as a student right now, it certainly does not feel like, the university is accommodating the scale that they're
responding. I just kind of want to know.
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, not in disagreement. Like our CS grad program right now in cyber specifically is like basically non-existent. There's barely any faculty to run the classes. So it's it's definitely a problem that needs to be addressed. Because I think the university is cutting a lot. They've managed to cut the corners off a circle here. So it's a bit concerning. Yeah.
I recently found an article about the Stewart School of Business, how they had a 140% increase in enrollment between last year and this year.
Okay, I think that'll be the last comment that I'll allow.
But if anybody wants to talk to me, I'll be here afterwards. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, come talk to me. Really, my goal is that student voices are being represented in this conversation, because frankly, right now, it just doesn't feel that way. So thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
All right, we'll leave it to Elio.
It's not related, but that car, speaking of public safety. I don't know. But today I wanted to address something that happened specifically in the nation. We got our new House Speaker today, Representative Mike Johnson. And if you haven't seen any of the news today, he made some very appalling comments about queer people in the United States. Very appalling comments. And the only thing I want to bring up today is that with the dismissal of affirmative action and with a House Speaker that seemingly is far, far away from being ever remotely close to a queer person in terms of looking for their rights or fighting for their rights. I think as a student government and as a university, we must make sure that we stand up for our diversity at this university, because it is every day that I see things like this happen in our country, it makes me afraid for our students on campus. We are known around Chicago and around the country and the world for being an incredibly diverse university. And I would hate to see it if the university didn't stand up for us in any case that may threaten specifically queer students and people of color. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that with today's appalling comments from Speaker Johnson, I would hope that if any conflicts were to arise on campus regarding sexuality, gender, or just basically listening to anybody's opposite opinions, or in general acceptance of anyone who isn't what Mike Johnson would describe as a nuclear or normal person, I think it would be a failure if the university didn't defend us in occasions like that. And it's worth bringing up just plainly because it is happening. Oh, cool. Nice. Because it is happening month after month, week after week, day after day. And with the new start of the DEI committee here in SGA, I would hope that we work to make sure that our students on campus feel safe and feel protected by both the administration and SGA. So with that being said, please defend your fellow queer members of campus. Defend your fellow people of color on campus any chance you get, and make sure you stand up for what's right. Joseph. It's quite a long one, so unless you want to stay here for about 5 more minutes. And it included saying that gay people, such as myself, should not be alive. So it's appalling, the comments. It is. Yeah. It's everywhere. So I just wanted to point it out tonight because, like I said, we are an incredibly diverse campus. And and I just wanted to point it out tonight because I feel like it is our responsibility to protect our peers at any cost. So yeah, have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Ellie.
you.
It's 9:15. Does anybody have any other open floor items? Tessa, how long? It's 9:15. It's our adjournment time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
No. Okay.